yesterday, don't I walk in? He's on my office, and I didn't get a chance to film that. Il met sa patte qui va dans litière, dans mon eau, il fait ça. Puis là, il se lave, il fait ça. Puis là, je cours après mon cellulaire, mais it's too late, right? He's done it. Mais là, je re-rentre mon bureau, j'ai bougé le verre là, et là. And I'm asking myself, how long has this been going on?
Ouais.
Like, how long? J'avais ri de quelqu'un qui avait posté sur TikTok or something, his cat licking his toothbrush. Puis j'ai fait, une chance que la mienne. Pas mieux, là. Donc, tous les matins, je change de verre. C'est ça ma nouvelle technique.
Des fois, je descends, puis là, je vois Walter. Maintenant, j'ai oublié mon café. Puis là, genre, je vois qu'il y a un peu de... Tu sais, moi, je prends des lattés. Fait que je vois qu'il y a un petit peu de moussi. Je suis comme, hey, toi. Puis là, il fait ça. Je suis comme, pas de café pour toi, c'est pas bon pour ton cœur.
Ben oui, il y a du lait, ça.
Il adore ça.
Oh. Je devrais finir mes 300 bœufs aujourd'hui. Hey, tu devrais voir la quantité de manger à chat que je suis en train de passer. Qui est allergique au poulet, qui aime pas le poisson. C'est des petits, like, I feel like Asher. Je me pratique. Ah!
Ça doit être ça.
Je me pratique. Be careful what you wish for.
Il y a vraiment un problème avec LinkedIn. Jeez.
Good morning, my friends. So there is a problem with LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, because the live wouldn't start, and then
But it's okay. Our friends are already here. Look.
Like,
Jacqueline is here. Good morning.
I don't
ladies.
know how they can be on the live so fast. Maybe we were live.
Oh, maybe we were live and I was talking about my cats. And did we say anything wrong? No. Jacqueline, écris-nous. Qu'est-ce que vous avez entendu? Just write us. What did you hear? Because Sherry's already here. Martin is here. I don't see the Monique Stratton team. Oh, there's Monique. You were live. We were live. Did you hear my story? Just weird, not wrong. Okay. But you don't know. Oh my God. I tell you guys, this is something. Welcome to the podcast. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Thank God these are all our usual people, the people that have been supporting us since the beginning. It's one of those weird mornings this morning. So we are the Millionaire of the Diamonds, a podcast about becoming intentional with your life, becoming intentional with your time, and becoming intentional with your choices. And let me tell you, you're going to love today's podcast. We're all about not being perfect. A lot of people work on being perfect. And this is not about perfection. This is not about working harder or that harder hustle. This is not about doing more. It's about pausing long enough to ask yourself, is what I'm doing still aligned with who I am becoming? And this is why 42 years later, I'm still where I am, because I am passionate about building people. And one of the things with me that's very important, I underline, I am passionate about building people without charging them money. Let that be said too. My gratification, I hope that's good English, my gratification is watching you, Jean-Philippe, make money, buying your dream home. Even with all the, what else can go wrong? Having the money to pay it. That's how I get paid. That's how I get compensated. When you make money, I love to make money. If you don't make money, then it doesn't work for me. And today, oh my God, today we're going to talk about commitment. Not the kind that builds you, but the kind you stay in out of the fear of missing out of the fear of letting go. This is what today is about. Fear of disappointing others, fear of not being liked, fear of letting go is all about today. But before we go there, I'll leave you in the hands of Marie-Pierre Tetreault for the contest. Ah, the contest, huh?
Yeah.
Do we have December's winners?
Tomorrow
Oh, I'm always lost.
on
Okay, but
Thursday. Okay, so first, make sure that you go and you share the live this morning, the podcast everywhere. So you will see the arrow just beside where you write your comments, so you can share everywhere. And you have the text in the comment that you can copy paste it when you share, so people understand why they should listen to the podcast this morning. So make sure that you share, and you will see that when you click to share on every social media platform, you can also share by messenger, text message. So when you have someone in mind, make sure that you go and you share directly by messenger or text message. Then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires de Diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group, Les Millionnaires de Diamants Inspirational Group, every time you post, every time you comment, every time you put a reaction, you gain point during the month to be in the top 10 contributor of the group. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires de Diamants. And then we have a draw at the end of the month. So two ways to be in the draw. First with the boutique. So when you go on the boutique and you place your order, take a picture, post it on social media, and tag Maria Mariano and Les Millionnaires de Diamants. You receive your order, same thing, take your picture, post it, and tag Maria Mariano and Les Millionnaires de Diamants. And then same thing with the books, Les Millionnaires de Diamants. So you receive one of the books, you take your picture, you're reading one of the book, you take a picture, you're doing one of the quiz book, you take a picture, you're doing one of the workbook, you take a picture, you're using your agenda, Les Millionnaires de Diamants, you take your picture. So every time you take a picture, post it on social media, tag Maria Mariano and Les Millionnaires de Diamants to be in the draw at the end of the month. And if you don't already have your ticket for the conference on January 24th, you still have time. We we
do
are
we have a
perfect.
photographer? You said yes, the last time?
Yes, yes.
So the people that are there can take pictures with us. You had said yes, right? Okay.
Yes. Millionaire talked with Liz for that. So we have the photographer with us for the 24th. So you can take some pictures. So for the people who want to be with us at the studio, we still have some place. We have about 10 places left to be with us at the studio. Just send me a message after you get your ticket, and I will add you to the group to be with us at the studio. Voila.
Thank you so, so much. So what I noticed is this. James said, I'm laughing. James said to Monique, they don't know they're live. You read it right. Okay, so let's dive in right away. Right away. So I'm going to start with the mirror and the permission giver. And I was reading this and I said, okay, how am I going to explain this? So let me start with something very honest. Most of the time, we don't stay committed because something is essential. We stay committed because we are afraid. So I want you to think how many times you stayed committed, not because it was essential, but because you were afraid. And I'm going to give you three classic examples for me. Afraid, I'm going to speak for me, afraid that I wouldn't be liked, afraid that someone was going to be disappointed, afraid that somebody was going to be angry, afraid that if we stopped, it will mean something about us. Oh. And little by little, without realizing it, we start living our lives around other people's comfort instead of our own truth. So I know this because I've done it many, many times. So let me give you a few examples. I'm going to give you three examples. I'm going to start with the Saturday night suppers. When my children were young, every Saturday night was like New Year's Eve. Everybody would come to my house. My mother had passed away, and I gave myself that mandate to keep the family together. So my sister with her husband, back then she didn't have kids, my brother, he didn't have a girlfriend, my sister-in-laws, my brother-in-laws, everybody would be in my house. And I would always tell people at my Tupperware office, this weekend, it was a small group. We were 24. And then I would show up the next Monday. I said, well, this weekend we were 44. If everybody came, we were 44. And that was going on every single night. Now you have to understand, as I grew more and more into the business, I was being more and more busy. But at first it was beautiful. The kids were young. We had the energy. It made a lot of sense to, unite with the family. By the way, this is why everybody's close still today. But as time passed, the kids grew up. I grew tired physically. I'm aging mentally. tired, emotionally tired, and yet I kept going. Not because I wanted to, but because I was afraid they wouldn't think I wasn't welcoming them anymore. Especially now that my sister had adopted one child, then she adopted three more. My brother, by this time, had a wife, then children, right? So I was afraid that they would feel rejected. I was afraid that somebody would think that something was wrong. So every Saturday, I kept pushing through until one Saturday, I skipped it. There must have been a Tupperware event, something, and something shocking happened. Nobody was upset. Nobody was hurt. Nobody felt rejected. In fact, they were relieved. That's when my sister said to me, "Oh, thank God, Maria, because this weekend I was going to come, but I had so much to do." What I thought was generosity had slowly become obligation for them and for me. Those weekly suppers weren't nourishing anymore. They didn't serve the original initial purpose. Now we gather truly and meaningfully for Christmas, not even New Year's, Easter, major birthdays like when they turn 13, 16, and the major birthdays, and the milestone, the graduations, right? And you know what happened? We're all happier. We're all more present when something happens because the gatherings didn't mean less love. Right now, I can tell you, less is better in the sense because our lives have changed. We don't have the same time available. Let's talk about business. So we go back to our Tupperware business, COVID hits, and in our business, our foundation has always been the Tupperware party. And I'm happy here. I've got a few people that come from that era, like Olga and like Monique. I've got a few of you. Now, if you remember, we kept working that Tupperware party, the Facebook party. Then we went into the boards party, and we kept going and going and going and going because we were afraid that if we were abandoning this foundation that was the Tupperware party, we would fail, afraid we were betraying the past of the Tupperware business, afraid to admit that something that once worked is no longer working. But the truth was uncomfortable. That training was in fact 20th century. The 21st century is all about social media selling. And you've seen the video, and I'll be showcasing more and more that video in the power hours. We know that we're on top of the ball right now. It's social media, our presence in the malls, making sure people know we're still alive. We're still going because people still think we are closed. So that is my second example, how to let go of something and stay relevant in a business. So when people say to me, how have you existed 40 some years successfully in a business and not just getting by, is by having the courage, thanks to Incredible 18, to let go of what doesn't matter anymore. And then the third example happened this year in 2025, being busy Monday through Friday. So this one is subtle but powerful. For years, I believe people needed meetings every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. Like I was trained that way, close to the fire, close to the fire, close to the fire. So giving up the Wednesday, Thursdays was very difficult for me because I was afraid people would stop working, would slow down. They would not be attached to the community anymore, but something magical happened. Thanks to the A team again, Annie having made the switch to the Monday night, the aha moment happened and we turned it into a Monday, Tuesday event. And as of Wednesday, everybody's free. And guess what happened? Sales increased because now they turned Wednesday night and Thursday night into selling activities. We stepped up our promoting. Why? Because now we had more time to do the meet and greets, the coaching, the dream sessions, etc. So the truth I want you to sit with before I leave you in the hands of Jean-Philippe, that's going to give you 5 main points, the academic side. Every time you remove something that no longer fits, what is happening? You are preparing for the future. And your future will always be bright if we're not afraid to let go. Now, to better understand the psychology behind it, academically, I leave you in the hands of Jean-Philippe Jacques.
Marie-Pierre, thank you. So, yes, I have 5 elements that we need to be aware when we commit ourselves. And sometimes, as Maria just said, okay, why it is so hard to let go of things. because when you do that, you feel that you're wasting something instead of focusing your energy on the right thing. So the first element is what we call the endowment effect. The endowment effect is our tendency to undervalue things that are not ours, but to overvalue things just because we own them. Just think of when you put something on marketplace on Facebook. Naturally, you will put a price that is much more higher than what the products is really value. And you enter into a negotiation and you thought to yourself, no, that is not true. My thing is worth more. But the only reason why it is this way is because you owned it. The feeling of owning something is giving value that is not very real. Just think of a book on a shelf that has been there for years that you never read it, but you don't want to give it or like sell it just because it's there. A kitchen appliance that is still in its box and you thought yourself, I'm going to use it like next year, okay? Or that ugly sweater that comes from one of your aunt, okay? That you don't want to throw or that you don't want to give just because you own it and you receive it, okay? It's the same with our activity. It is harder, okay, to uncommit from a project that isn't going anywhere just because you are the leader of it. You own it, so you feel that there is a bigger value instead of focusing on something that will bring much more result. So ask yourself, if I didn't already have this commitment, would I choose it today? Okay, so ask yourself that question and it will help you understand, okay, I should like left that project or left that thing. The second element is what we call the fear of waste. As adults, we are trained to avoid appearing wasteful. Okay, so abandoning a project, okay, that you've invested a lot in, feel like you've wasted everything, and waste is something that we are told to avoid. Let's just give you an example, okay? You have two of your favorite bands group that are coming to town and that you want to see their concert. You buy the ticket. You thought yourself, oh yes, I want to go see them. I want to see them, okay? One ticket is $50, the other ticket is $100. But then you realize that those two concerts are at the same time, the same date. Naturally, what your brain will choose, it will choose the more expensive one, even if you would prefer to go to the other band. Why? Because in your mind, you thought to yourself, well, I've invested more in that. So if I'm not going to them, I feel like I'm wasting something. But what is happening is that you will waste much more because you will have that fear of missing out, kind of, okay, instead of saying, I would appreciate that more. So the cost here is multiplied because you're not only going to something that costs you more, but it will cost you more joy than instead of appreciating it. Number three, the status quo bias. This is the tendency to continue doing something simply because you've always done it this way. And if you're working at the government or in school or, very bureaucratic places, this is most of the times the guide, okay? Just remember the story of the ham, okay? Maria, I remember that you've told us, okay? Like you have somebody that is cooking a ham, he put it in a pot, but he cut the two sides of the ham. And like the partners looking at it, why are you doing it? Well, because my grandmother always did it. So they go see the grandmother and they say, oh, because my grandmother did it. And they go see the grandmother and they ask the question, oh, the only reason is because it could not fit into my pot. So just be sure that you question yourself, okay? And don't accept blindly, okay, things. Ask those questions, okay? Is there a better way? Why is it? What are the roots? So this will help you really understand, is that a cultural aspect or is there really a good reason why we do it this way? Number four, the zero-based thinking, okay? This is most of the time used especially for accountant, okay? Here they say that most of the times we use history to evaluate and establish our goal, okay? But the zero-based thinking or the zero-based budgeting is using zero as the baseline, okay? Which means that you're starting from scratch, okay? So instead of saying, okay, last year, I will take my example. Last year, like, was not a good year for my organization. We sell like $300,000. I know saying this way it sounds weird, okay? But I know I've already accomplished 1.1 million. So I won't say, okay, this year I only want to reach 500,000. No, I'm still establishing, okay, my goal as 1.5 million. So use like the zero baseline, like there is nothing, and then establish your goal, then establish your activity. Because instead of saying, oh, this activity took me like 5 hours a week, so I should like according 6 hours now. Instead, go back to zero and really ask yourself how much time you should allocate to those activities. So for your commitment and your activity, what would I intentionally put back in my schedule? So ask yourself, what do you want? What are your goals? What are your values? What are your principles? This is the zero baseline. And finally, number 5, the reverse pilot. Most of the times companies have pilot tests, so they invest money because they want to test something. But the reverse pilot here is instead of adding something, you remove something. You remove an initiative or an activity, okay? And you see what are the consequences. Are they negative? Are they positive? Okay? So if, let's say that in my schedule, I took back, okay, a live sales, I need to look at what are my results. Oh, I don't have sales anymore. So finally, I should get it. But I have, let's say, that type of meeting, it doesn't give me any like a positive, or it doesn't change anything in my business. Well, I should like take it off completely of my schedule. So ask yourself, what am I missing? Am I missing something? Is that improving, okay, my life? And did anybody notice the change that I take that back from my schedule? So those are the 5 elements to help you take better decision and be aware of the bias that we have. Now, let's go see Marie-Pierre with the tools that will help us. So Marie-Pierre, up to you.
Thank you, Stephanie. So yes, we're gonna start with the quiz this morning. So this morning, the quiz will help you to see what keeps you overcommitted, which internal force is driving it, and what you need to let go of first to move forward with clarity. So again, when we do a quiz, it's important that we answer honestly, not based on who you want to be, but based on who you actually respond in real life. So it's really, you want to answer with that first instinct. So let's start with question number 1. This morning, you can answer A, B, C, D, or E for each question. So question number 1. So when you think about stopping a commitment that drains you, what stop you the most? So A, people will be disappointed. B, I'm afraid nothing will replace it. C, I don't quit what I start. D, it's just how my life works now. Or E, nothing, if it no longer serves, I stop. Question number 2. When you imagine removing a commitment for 30 days, what feels the hardest? A, other people's reaction. B, facing empty space. C, admitting it wasn't the right choice. D, breaking routine. Or E, I feel relief. Question number 3. When something feels wrong, what is your first instinct to do? A, to push through for others. B, to add something else instead. C, to prove I can handle it. D, ignore the feeling. Or E, pause and reassess. Question number 4. When you have some free time, how it makes you uncomfortable? So A, because I feel selfish. B, I don't know what to do with it. C, it threatens my identity. D, I'm not used to it. Or E, I see it as a capacity. And question number 5. When someone else walks away from a long commitment, what do you think? A, that they are brave. B, that you wish that you could. C, that they gave up, D, that it wouldn't work for you, or E, they made a clear decision. So did you get mostly A's, mostly B's, mostly C's, mostly D's, or mostly E's? So if you have it mostly A, it's guilt and obligation. So you overcommit out of loyalty and emotional responsibility. So you confuse love with sacrifice. So you want your that growth that you can work on is that your conscience is asking you to choose truth over approval. So letting go here will heal resentment and restore authentic relationship. If you have mostly B, now it's the fear of emptiness. So you stay busy just to avoid silence, space, or uncertainty. So space is not danger. It is where clarity and creativity are born. So letting go here will unlock your vision and your momentum. If you have mostly C, now it's pride and identity. So you associate the stopping with failure or weakness. So wisdom is not endurance, it's discernment. So letting go here will bring you that humility, peace, and strength. And if you have mostly D, now it's habit and familiarity. So you continue without questioning. So what once served you may not now be stealing your future. So letting go will simplify your life and restore intentional leadership. And now, if you have mostly E, you are the conscious chooser. So you have that a low level of sunk-cost bias. So you are already practicing essentialist thinking. So you have that strength that you reassess regularly. You separate past investment from the future value. So next step will be, for example, to help other people learn this skill without judgment. So 3 points to help us to letting go with courage. Number one, schedule a commitment review. It can be weekly or monthly, but schedule it in your agenda. So, for example, once a month, you block a 30 minutes of quiet to ask yourself, what am I still doing out of habit? What am I doing out of obligation? What will I not choose again today? So, the rule is if something stays on your calendar by default, it owns you. So, you want to regain that ownership of your time. Point number two, treat heaviness as data, not drama. So when something feels heavy, don't push harder. Ask yourself, is this heavy because it matters or is it heavy because it's misaligned? So essential things will may be hard, but they don't drain your soul. So you stop confusing pressure with purpose. And point number three, you want to make sure that you close the door gently but completely. So when you decide to let go, you don't want to revisit it emotionally every day. So no mental bargaining, no replaying the decision, no explaining endlessly. Just this chapter served me. It's complete. Now we go forward. So you move forward cleanly without dragging the past. So letting go, it's not erasing your past, but it's a way to honor it without living in it. So the life you want next cannot be built if you just stay in all the things that you had have in the past. So it's to take the time to visit what you have in your calendar and to see what you can improve from that. So on that, I wish you a beautiful day and we'll see you tomorrow morning for the next podcast. Bye everyone.